Karen Panaccio with Limbrook TV. We are at the Elks Lodge to celebrate the centennial anniversary of the Incorporated Village of Limbrook. Tonight, we will recognize the service organizations that have made Limbrook the village that leads the way. We have here with us village historian Art Matson. Art, hi, how are you tonight? You look fabulous.
Thank you.
We love this hat.
Oh, this hat is very much like they would wear in 1911. In fact, we have a couple of pictures maybe we can put on the show that show people wearing hats, derbies just like this.
Very nice. And you have some books here too?
Oh yeah, my history of Limbrook. There'll be some given away at the tables. And also this is the 175th anniversary this year of the wrecks of the Bristol, New Mexico, where the victims are buried in Limbrook. And so I have some of those books as well. Oh, it's a lot of anniversaries. In fact, Mike Schindler just told me this is the anniversary of the sinking of the Titanic this year.
Can you give us one big fact that stands out in your mind about Limbrook? I know there's many of them.
Oh, well, of course, everybody says that Limbrook is Brooklyn spelled backwards. They're all wrong. It's Limbrook with syllables transposed.
Yes. That's very true. I read that on the internet, actually.
Okay.
Well, very nice. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for all you do.
Okay, thanks a lot.
We have our mayor, William Hendricks. Bill Hendricks, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well, Karen, and it looks like it's going to be another fabulous event. When we first started this, the committee, I have to give a lot of credit to Flo Brooks and others, and Carol Burak. We figured, oh, we're not even going to fill the room, but we have about 160 people coming. And we just think this is going to be, this is the event of the year. Everybody's asking for tickets last minute, and everybody wants to come. And we think it's just going to be great. And I think Limbrook's birthday, which we call this Limbrook's birthday, is going to be a real nice party.
Now, are there other things that are going on this year to celebrate the 100th anniversary?
Yes, we still have a golf outing is coming up. We still have our major parade, Memorial Day parade, which we're going to have a little extra in. We also going to have Patriots Weekend is going to be pumped up a little bit, and that's going to be for all the residents to come down, and of course all our armed services veterans to come down and enjoy. And we're finishing up basically with those events. So it's been a busy year.
I'm sure. This planning started in 2010, of course.
And I couldn't do any of this if you would saw how hard the committee works. I didn't want to make a mention of them because I'll leave someone out. But everybody from, as I said, from Flo Brooks to Eleanor DeNeufeld to Carol Burak was my right-hand man the whole time. And, Art Matson helped. And just we go down the line for the historical. And it's just turned out great.
Very nice. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. Hi, Senator Dean Skelos. How are you? Thanks for coming tonight.
Well, it's a great evening. 100th anniversary of Limbrook, a great village, a great family village, a village that serves the people well, and I'm so proud to have represented Limbrook for a number of years and to be able to work with the village fathers over the years to make it an even better community. So to all the good residents of Limbrook, happy anniversary, happy 100 years.
Oh, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
And here's Nassau County Legislator Fran Becker. How are you tonight?
Doing great, thanks. It's a very, very special evening for Limbrook and for my family in particular because
yes.
Limbrook means so much to all of us. my grandfather was congressman for Lynbrook, and he moved here back in the early 1900s, and my family has kind of stayed here, and I have 11 brothers and sisters, Lynbrook schools. You know, we kid around each other. That's why we get elected to office, because we make our own voters, you know what I mean?
It's Lynn Becker, not Lynbrook. Maybe we can
But anyway,
incorporate.
we feel so blessed to be in a community of wonderful people, caring people. It's just, when you reflect back on 100 years, and as I said, my brother represented Lynbrook in the Assembly, and I'm now the Nassau County Legislator. Of course, my dad was mayor of Lynbrook for many, many years. So Lynbrook's a very special place to us, and we love the people here, and we love the ability to serve them as we have over the years. And so to all my fellow Lynbrook residents, happy anniversary, 100 years. And I don't think I'll be here in the next 100, but
Never know.
but hopefully there'll be us to carry on the great tradition
I'm
of making
sure.
this village the great place it is to live, work, raise a family, and you know, also to worship God.
Well, thank you, Fran.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody to Lynbrook's 100th birthday party. And by happenstance, I feel very lucky that I happen to be the mayor during its 100th anniversary. I wouldn't have guessed this 5 or 10 years ago, but I'm very, very thrilled. I'm thrilled with the turnout here, the different organizations. Lynbrook is still strong and viable, only get stronger and more viable in the future. We pull together. It's just family. You look around the room and everybody is friends and family with everybody else, and it makes me very proud. We're going to move our program along so we can have some dancing tonight. We've had our cocktail hour, and that was the welcome. So welcome all, and I'll be back a little later to speak a little bit about the history of Lynbrook, very short, with a few little vignettes. But before I go any further, I have to ask Reverend Jack Fahey, please, to come up and give us our invocation before we can start our meeting. Reverend Jack. Everybody should rise.
Our Heavenly Father, we are gathered here this evening in a spirit of celebration and thanksgiving. In celebration of the 100th anniversary of our beloved village of Lynbrook, and in thanksgiving for your guidance and blessing over the past century, as well as for this place of beauty and welcome which this village has provided for so many, for so long. We ask your continued blessing upon this place, upon the men and women who have been chosen to lead us in the past and present, and upon those who will come after them to continue our great Lynbrook tradition of loyalty and wholesomeness for generations to come. Bless then this our village of Lynbrook, its leaders and its residents, and let us always be a jewel among the incorporated villages of Nassau County, and a good example for all who live around us of what it means to be a haven of blessing and peace. And finally, bless, O Lord, this food to our use and us to your service, and keep us ever mindful of those who are less fortunate. God bless Lynbrook, USA. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend. I would now like the Deputy Mayor, Alan Beach, to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise, hand over heart, and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. Now we have a treat. Many years I've heard Chief Burke sing. Normally it was a firehouse somewhere after 12 or 1 o'clock, but or later. Or later. And there was usually someone going through a window at some point in time. However, he has been very generous and has been convinced to come down and sing God Bless America. So, Chief of the Fire Department, Chief Engineer Raymond Burke.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Taramina doesn't come till 12:30. Would all the former trustees that are here, that's Steve Grogan, Bobby Barra, stand up. Peter Ledwith, stand up. I'm looking around. Jay Korth, stand up. All right. We're going to take a picture just because I'm a former trustee too. We're going to take a picture later, but just a round of applause for the former trustees while we're here. And I also would like, could we just have the former mayors that are here today stand up? That would be Mayor Francis X. Becker. Is he there in the audience? I call him Judge. And Brian Kern. How soon we forget.
Hello, how are you? Nice to see you.
We love you.
So, who loves me? This is what he is. This is our president of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce. How are you, Mr. Gaylor?
Oh, I'm just so happy to be here tonight for the 100th anniversary of our community. It doesn't get any better. I look around the room and I see all of the most important people in this community who are here to celebrate, and I'm just so happy to be here.
I know, it must mean a lot to you. You have a lot of history here.
It does, because I've been in this community since 1949, and I've seen so many wonderful changes in the community.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy with the new administration. Everybody's working together. It's just great to be here.
Thanks for keeping our business district the way it is.
We're doing our very best. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, look how lucky I am. How are you? We have our former mayor. How are you tonight? Brian Kern. We have Bob Barra here with us. How are you guys doing? Who wants to talk first?
Absolutely, Bob. This is great. I was at the 75th. It was my wife and I's first date. It was at the 75th, so we're back for the 100th, and we plan on being back for the 200th. Oh, maybe in spirit, but we'll be back. We'll try.
That's great. That's great. And how about you? How are you doing?
We're doing great, Karen. And you know what? I got to compliment Mayor Hendrick and the entire board. They did a great job. They got about 140 people here. The place is packed, and everybody's having a great time.
That's great.
So, listen, as always, you and Mike are doing a fantastic job covering this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
Although there's only one anchor to the board, and I'm looking at it right now. That would be Trustee Beach. I mean, Deputy Mayor Hendrick Beach.
Yes, that's right. A lot of changes now, right?
Yeah, but in all seriousness, those guys are fantastic guys, and they're going to do a great job leading the village for the next 4 years. I couldn't think of 5 better guys to lead the village and its 100th anniversary.
Well, we're very lucky to have you, too, in your new position.
Thank you. Well, you know what? Again, I got lucky. I got lucky taking over for Gene in the mayorship, and I got lucky taking over for Bob in the assembly.
That's right.
The thing was, I was on the village board, then he became on the village board. I was the assemblyman, then he became the assemblyman. I put my first daughter through college. My second daughter, he's going to put through college.
Oh, very nice. Well, thank you both.
Thank you very much, Gary.
Good to see you. Take care.
And happy birthday to Limbrook.
There he is. He's reading all these great memories.
I'm looking at the high school from
In
years ago.
1931.
And I'm saying to myself, why did we get rid of this building? This is such a beautiful building.
This is Santo Barbarino, our superintendent of schools. So how are you tonight? You're enjoying this memories,
I
right?
am loving this. This is such a class event. It's so reflective of the class of the village. It's just a wonderful, wonderful program. And a turnout beyond what people expected,
Yes.
which is typical Lynbrook. This is really Lynbrook, USA.
Now, how about our school district? Can you tell us any history? How long have you been with the Lynbrook School District?
I've been with the school district for 31 years, and it's been a very beautiful 31 years. And the village is part of that. When you look at the relationship that the school district has with the village, you realize how special this community is. How many villages do what is done for the Lynbrook students, such as the pre-prom party or the post-prom pool party.
Yeah.
I mean, where else does that happen? It's such a very special place, and anyone who's here has to have that special feeling for Lynbrook and being part of Lynbrook. It's.
Yes. I'm a graduate of Lynbrook High School, Lynbrook School.
I know you are, but we're all proud to be here. I'm just one of many who's very fortunate and blessed to be part of this community. So this is a gift. It's a gift to all of us.
Thank you so much. You have a great time tonight.
Thank you. I love being here. Thank you.
He's here. Now, this man I am very proud to introduce. This is our 14th former mayor of Lynbrook, Mr. Becker. Tell us, how many terms did you take on as mayor in Lynbrook?
Well, I was mayor for 14 years. I believe that's something like 4 terms.
4 terms. I think one of the longest that the mayors ever took on.
As far as I know, but we have one mayor that lasted forever a few years ago. I can't give you his name now because I'm not even sure about that.
Now, in 1981, you became our judge, or a judge.
That's right.
Yes.
And I was a Supreme Court judge for another 14 years.
Wow, wow. Well, you look wonderful. You have any tidbits about Lynbrook that you'd like to tell us?
Well, if I start, you'll wonder when I'm going to stop.
Oh, all right.
Okay. It's really a great village, and the historian has done a marvelous job bringing a lot of things to light that I'm sure people were unaware of.
Yes. Well, thank you so much.
And thank you.
Among you, 1 or 2 people who would like to speak, I'd like to bring them up, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it in reverse order. Jay Korth is here. He is representing I'm sorry, no? Jay, you wanted to speak. I know you had something to say. Why don't you come up and do it now? Jay Korth, village trustee, village attorney. He was village trustee under Magraviti, which was one mayor before Beck. Come on up, Jay.
I wish the Notre Dame people would kind of tune it down a little now. In any event, it's a pleasure to be here. I guess I'm the senior around here. I had in mind that I expressed my gratitude for having been a resident of this village for over 57 years. And it's really close to my heart. And I don't know what I would have amounted to if I hadn't moved here at the time we did. I'd probably be struggling with some big law firm in New York City. Instead, I had an opportunity to join a local man here on Atlantic Avenue named Richard Gillen, a longtime family. And all I can say is that it was just a wonderful experience coming here and living here and having your children educated here. I'll put in one plug here, maybe it shouldn't be, maybe it's not relevant, but I think it is in a way, that our 3 children all attended parochial school right here in Lynbrook, and then attended St. Agnes High School, and from that they followed and all went to St. John's Law School, and I'm pleased to be able to tell you that they're all practicing attorneys today. So I owe a lot to Lynbrook. For one thing, having joined I think I mentioned Richard Gillen was a local man here. I started with him. Judge Lapp had been his partner, and he left and went back to Cedarhurst. So there was a vacancy, and that's how I happened to get in with Dick Gillen, who was a great graduate of Colgate University. They used to have great football teams. Anyway, they're in the Division II now, so we're all discussing more hooked on Division I, like Bill McLaughlin here, who's a big Notre Dame fan. And of course, he's known to go out there to see them play. And of course, we went out there too, also to see them play Purdue. Unfortunately, the Notre Dame kicked off, returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, so we relaxed from that point on. But in any event, I'm here just to say that as a senior, having been, first of all, 9 years as a trustee of the village, starting with Mayor Mangraviti, a expatriate of Bari, Italy, who came over here and made a mark for himself, and was quite a mayor. Up until the time Fran Becker came along, and he put in a great campaign in 1967 and was elected. So I was out of government for about a year, but then Fran saw fit to bring me back in, and then I became the village attorney, and that went on and on and on, ad infinitum, I guess. And then when there was a little change in administration of the village, I then became so-called Tax Certiorari Council. And that went on for, I guess, almost 20 years too. So I have a lot to be really grateful for. I've enjoyed every minute of it. Instead of being locked up in some big law firm in the city, here I was just like a local suburban attorney and not having to take that long on a railroad every day. In any event, it's really a pleasure to be here. And I can only tell you that anybody who moves from the city and comes to Lynbrook, it's like a new beginning. It's just eye-opening, and it's a marvelous experience. If my history can sound or convince you that by all means, love Lynbrook, continue to love it, and appreciate the fact that we were, oh, by the way, I nearly got off the track a little bit. The main thrust of the message is that this is really a birthday party here. No matter how you slice it, as Al Smith used to say, used to be baloney, but no matter how you slice it, This is a birthday party. This village was created in 1911. That was the birth of the incorporated village of Lynbrook. That's what made it so different from any other community here. I mean, just picture it if you didn't have this village here, this village government with all the amenities that they provide, and you had to go to Hempstead for everything. I mean, it'd be a different world for you. But Lynbrook, with this incorporated village, is just outstanding. The quality of the men we have elected to office here is beyond recall. I mean, just look at these gentlemen here, the type of individual. And you can take care of whatever your problems are involving the building code or the recreation, you name it, library. They have it all right here. You don't have to go to Hempstead for it. That's what you've been doing. And the fact is that if it had not been an incorporated village, we would have had a crematory right here in Lynbrook, or just outside the bounds of Lynbrook in the cemetery down at Ocean Avenue there. But Mayor Becker asked me to go over to oppose at the hearing in the town hall, which we did, and we was successful in dissuading the town from granting permission to have a crematory right up there off Charles Street in Madison. So we have a lot to be thankful for. We have a lot to be thankful for here in the fact that we are incorporated. And if you look at the ticket for this affair, it says we're celebrating an incorporation, which is what it is, which is a birth. It's a birth of a new entity. And this is a birthday party here. Nothing more, nothing less. So I could go on and on, but that would be ad nauseum, maybe. So with that, I will say thank you for your attention. I hope you don't disagree with me too violently. And with that, I'll say God bless America and God bless Lynbrook.
Go thought. Let me just quickly read these names that I think we should remember in a row, since Attorney Court says this is a birthday party, which he's right. Let's start with 1911. August D. Kelsey, then Milton Abrams, then George F. Adair, James F. Dayton, George W. Wright, Charles H. Lott, Percy Howard, Philip Stouderman, George E. Winter, Howard G. Wilson, William K. Ross, Fred A. Grice, George H. Magraviti, Francis X. Becker Sr., Glenn Spielman, William Gaia, Mary Conway, Eugene Scarpato, and can't make I can't make this. Sounds like Brian Curran. And those are your mayors. I also would be remiss if I did not ask Francis X. Judge to come up for a minute, if he would, and just give us a little reflection.
Everybody's going to be short and be brief.
Yeah.
Kind of people we have.
Short and brief, Judge, that's okay. You can take all the time you want, but I only leave the microphone on for a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Well, folks, I have to be brief because this is a surprise, and unaccustomed as I am to long speeches, I'll keep it brief. Basically, it is I'd like to pay my respects to our village historian, because I think without the good work that he has done, and he has done a magnificent job, we wouldn't be here tonight. I would say to you, my thanks, it's going to be very brief, is to this wonderful village historian. I will take this credit. I did, several years ago, appoint him as our village historian. Now, more than that, I'm just not going to say. It's a nice party. The people who have put this together have done an excellent job. We have a lot of work to go through, and we do have a marvelous committee. I met with him on a couple of occasions, and I hope to meet more. We do have a little bit ways to go. But the very fact that you folks are here tonight and having a good time, and I hopefully sending your accolades to our Village Historical Committee for bringing this all about. Thank you.
I'm going to call up our legislator. His name is also Francis X. Becker, and he has a proclamation. A couple of shekels, I hope, because his whole family came here, and I got to make sure they're paid for. There's a lot of them. But Fran, thanks for coming up to say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a special night here on the anniversary of Limbrook. It's when you look at the journal, and Bill McLaughlin was passing around the journal for the 50th anniversary. It was pretty remarkable. We had a chance to take a look at it. But it is a special night, and you know, I tell you, I can't help but reflect on one of my favorite movies and being with you tonight and thinking about Limbrook. And that's the movie It's a Wonderful Life, which I'm sure all of you in one way or other can identify with. And you know, James Stewart, of course, in the movie is, I'm not going to go through the whole movie, but of course, as you recall, he ponders, you know, what his value was to his community and to, I guess, to his family and to everyone around him. And as you know, he bad things occur to him, and of course he goes to the bridge and he thinks he's going to end his life because he basically thinks he has no value whatsoever. And of course, we know what happens at that particular point. He goes back into basically a moment when, as if he weren't alive, and what the community might be if he wasn't there. And of course, you know, we look at him, and he was an important figure in the movie, an important figure to his community, because without him, as you realize, things wouldn't have been as good as they were. And you know, in a small village like Limbrook, we reflected on that movie in the same way, because we are very much like Jimmy Stewart's movie. And you know, while he was very, very important, he owned the bank and so forth, every person, I think what the movie basically says, no matter who you are, and I think you can identify with that, is that every person in a community, no matter how large or small their contribution, is important. And of course, if you look at that in a matter of faith, that movie is really all about, basically saying, an angel speaking on behalf of God, saying, you matter, you are important. No matter how large or small your contribution is, you're important to that community. You make a difference. And I just would, I'm not going to name, I'd like to name a few people and institutions maybe in Limbrook that have made that sort of difference. And I would like to reflect, first of all, my dad, Francis Becker, who was the mayor of this village for many, many years. And I still recall, my brothers, we laugh. If you look at some of the old campaign material, he had on one of his things was, I'm very, very frugal. And the idea of that, I still remember to this day, he pulling a Volkswagen in the back of our driveway and making all my 11 or 12 of my 11 brothers and sisters fit into the Volkswagen to leave people with the understanding in his campaign that he's a frugal guy. You know, you look at a person like Mary Malloy, who's our, you know, represents our village newspaper, but Limbrook is more than just a job to Mary Malloy. You take a person like Art Manson, who's been our village historian. What an amazing job he's done. You look at the journal, and he's recorded all the history of Lynbrook, and we can enjoy it and read it. He's taken so much time to do that. I'm not going to name all the business, but you look at a business like Lynn Gift Shop on Atlantic Avenue. What would it be like if Lynn Gift Shop wasn't there, and Bill Gaylor and his wife Julie and his entire family, for that matter? And I use them to focus on the fact that you look at our Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce, look at all our businesses in the village of Lynbrook, how wonderful they are and how important they are to our community. How about a person like Alice Marie Bresnahan here tonight, serving on the village board? For all the years that she does, watching and caring for our kids, what would Lynbrook be like without her? And how about Florence Brooks and our entire committee who put this dinner tonight? And of course, remember her husband, Buddy Brooks, the chief of the fire department here, just a wonderful guy. A beautiful human being. How about if we didn't have Lynbrook Elks or St. Mary's KFC? What would Lynbrook be like without them? And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have in this audience many, many veterans. And what would Lynbrook be like? What would the United States be like without our veterans who fought for freedom in our country? And I would just like every veteran who is here tonight, every veteran who is here tonight to please stand up and be recognized. And Peter, I would like you to stand up on behalf of all your sons that served in the military. Peter, would you please stand up? Thank you so much for all you've done for Lynbrook and for our nation. How about Lynbrook's Fire Department? You've got Chief Zemo, Chief Burke here. All the other chiefs who served Lynbrook in such an amazing way and sacrificed so much. What would Lynbrook be without its fire department? What would it be like without its police department? And of course, what would Lynbrook be like without a Bill Henry? You know, 20 years. And as your Nassau County legislator, of course, I have a presentation to make, and I'm so proud to make the presentation on behalf of the 1.3 million residents of Nassau County, and also on behalf of our new county executive, Ed Mangano, who's doing an incredible and valiant job. But as a closing remark, what would tonight be? What would Lynbrook? Let me make a mention too. Reverend Fahey over at St. James Church. Reverend Fahey, what would Lynbrook be like without you? But what would tonight be if each and every one of you weren't here tonight to make this night so very special? It is a wonderful night. Thank you for celebrating Lynbrook's 100th anniversary with each and every one of us. And thank you for the privilege of allowing me to serve you as your county legislator. Have a great night. Thank you.
We are moving the program along. We have another special elected official who has not been, he's been in Albany now almost 2.5 months, I guess. And I haven't gotten one grant. I haven't gotten one nickel. I haven't gotten one road done. I mean, out of sight, out of mind. Maybe he can come across with something, be watching closely. If I could call up your state assemblyman, Brian Kern.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank Mayor Hendrick for allowing me this opportunity to say a few words, not only on my own behalf, but also on behalf of State Senator Dean Skellers, who was previously here, but had to attend another function. Now, I will tell you, I wrote this speech before hearing Mayor Hendrick speak tonight, and I thought on such a special occasion there would be a détente between him and me. No. Obviously, I was mistaken, but we will keep this above board. But I will remind Chief Burke, who is a very large man, that Billy did call you a woman. So, Chief, take care of him. Tonight, we are all here to celebrate the 100-year history of a place that we all call home. And we are proud of the rich history of Lynbrook. It is a journey that started with the opening of Pearsall's Corner in 1850 and continued on to today. But like any long journey, Lynbrook has seen its share of challenges and difficult times. This village and its residents survived through the Great Depression, World War I, and World War II. And even in the darkest of times, the commitment and love that the residents had for this village never wavered and never changed. You see, while I was mayor, I often said that Lynbrook is a special place in this world. It is the type of place where a couple from Brooklyn would buy their first house, raise a family, and live for the next 49 years, as my parents did. And never once in those 49 years did they ever think about moving from Lynbrook. Because my parents, like every family that moved into Lynbrook, realized that once you find a special place in this world that you consider home, you never, ever give it up. So tonight, we celebrate 100 years. We celebrate 100 years of a place where people leave their doors unlocked, 100 years of a place where your neighbors are considered your extended family, 100 years of a place where people have raised their families and have grown old together. So on behalf of New York State Senator Dean Skelos and myself, congratulations on 100 wonderful years of the place that all of us are proud to call our home, Lynbrook. Thank you, everyone.
Someone in the audience, if they would like to acknowledge that has lived here over 90 years, and I'd like to see where she is. Would someone next to her stand up and let me know? Right away. 90 years? Round of applause, please. Lynbrook. At the turn of the century, the area we know as Lynbrook was known as Pearsall's Corner, having approximately 2,800 inhabitants under the governance of the Township of Hempstead. The center of the commerce was Five Corners, and the Atlantic Avenue business district was oyster shells lining dirt roads. Having community pride, its citizens wanted to better the community with the ability to install its own electric street lighting, build new roads, and adopt regulations such as controlling the speed of horses and regulating franchises for buses, taxis, trains, and utilities, and other local controls. It's said that economic forces sometimes drive governmental policies and regulations. In this case, beginning in 1901, that's 10 years before our incorporation, a group of real estate investors began to buy farms and subdividing them to build homes, which over the next 25 years made Lynbrook the fastest growing village in Nassau County. These investors included Augustus Kelsey, Peter Blake, Sylvester Pearsall, John Lyons, and Joseph Simonson, all who have streets named after them, and many of whom our houses that we live in were built by, on a speculative market to have more people move to Lynbrook. In 1909, an election was held, and the proposal to incorporate it was defeated. It was also discussed 10 years before that, but it never got to a vote. On February 18th, February 18th, 1911, another election for incorporation was held and passed 281 votes to 214 votes. And the village had its first board meeting on March 30th, 1911. Presiding as mayor, actually president, was real estate investor Augustus Kelsey, and trustees Remsen Shipway, William Ronalds was named as treasurer, and Augusti's fellow real estate partner, Joseph Simonson. Incorporation papers show that the New York State Secretary of State signed, I have a copy of it, we want to make sure, we had to check it out, that the New York Secretary of State signed the incorporation on March 11, 1911, based on submission of the maps filed March 15, 1911. There is an inconsistency in the facts that after these two dates, in that the Secretary of State's signature was supposed to be after the documents were submitted, not before. A further review revealed that March 11th was a Saturday in 1911, a day that the state offices were probably closed for business. A closer examination on how the election was conducted indicated that the town of Hempstead supervisor, who signed, Smith Cox, also served as an election inspector in the village during the voting to extract this territory from the town, which was probably a conflict of interest. Coupled with the possible conflict of interest and inconsistency of dates, these three matters could void the incorporation, possibly, probably not, and entitle us to a reimbursement of 100 years of taxes from the town of Hempstead. I'm not going to ask for it because we were, again, for some reason, reincorporated in 1931. And maybe I'll let Art Mattson say that. But what I need right now is I need my village board to come up, because I really think we should have a special board meeting and reincorporate the village of Limerick while we stand here. So if I could please have, John, will you please just take note, take minutes? I lost Hillary. Is Hillary voting against it? He wants to stay down.
No, David's going to abstain.
Respectfully. Could I have a motion from one of you fellows to reincorporate? Second? Okay, all those who in favor, please say aye. Aye. I have the incorporated papers right here. We have them. We'll put them as an exhibit on the new vote. I'll give these to John Giordano. And Limerick is either 15 minutes old or 100 years old, whichever way you want to look at it. I want you guys to stay up and get up to this. While we're up here enjoying our food, a few people I just want to mention. We have the PBA here, Brian Palladino. We have a proclamation. Could you come up and get it? And thank you very much, and your lovely wife, for coming. Hey, Brian. I told you right when your food was here. Brian, you did the right thing. Here we have this for you.
Nice outfit.
All right. And thank the rest of the guys, always. Okay? Thanks for coming down. All right. The Girl Scouts of America. Is Pat here? I told you were going to get a citation, Pat. The Girl Scouts took over our meeting last week. American Legion, we have Commander Stryker here. Is Jack Barlow with you as well? Come on down, guys. I knew Hank would come down.
No, 2 words. 2 words. I'm going to remember this. Once again, I had to clue in Bill Hendricks that the name is Spiker. For the last 4 years, he's been screwing it up.
Hank, I think I have to correct you. It's Hendrick.
All right, next. Next is our village historian, Art Madsen. He's dressed to the nines, and if he feels better, because he hasn't been feeling well bronchitis-wise, he may say a few true. He's going to wear that hat, too. He's going to wear that, is it the bowler? There you go. Come on up.
This bowler, by the way, is a type of hat that was worn back in 1911. I have shots of a member of the Limerick Fire Department fighting a fire with a bowler just like this sitting on his head in 1911. So it's appropriate that I wear it. Francis Becker was Francis X. Becker, former mayor, was mentioned a couple of times. And he's the guy who recommended that I be a historian just before he then left the village to become a judge, I guess, in Nassau County. He left me with, I think it was a half dozen boxes of records in the bottom of a closet in the boardroom. And the general impression in the village that we began in 1911, which is true from an incorporation standpoint, but we're a community that goes back to 1790. That's when the first church was established, the old Sandhole Church, which stood at the Sandhole Cemetery, now known as the Rockville Cemetery. So we go back a long way. And I was kind of amazed to find what a rich history we had. I've accomplished something because I think Mayor Curran, former Mayor Curran, mentioned that we go back to 1850 with Pearsall's Corners. We've had as many as 10 different names in the course of our history. Originally near Rockaway, actually the Indian name of Rashwaaki, then near Rockaway, Parsons Corners, Bloomfield, I won't name them all, Clinktown at one point. Clinktown, yeah, Clinktown. I'm glad we didn't keep that. Parsons Corner, Pearsall's Corners, and finally Limbrook. And if there's one accomplishment that I want to make before I leave, is to reinforce Limbrook is not Brooklyn spelled backwards, which so many people say. That would be Courtneyville. We're Limbrook with syllables transposed. So remember that. Thank you very much.
Next, the Rotary Club. I know Howie Wright is here. Fred Fusswinkle is a member of the Rotary. I don't know who else they brought together, but if they would come up, we have a proclamation for them. Bruce Lean is here. Give Fred a couple of minutes. Charlie's here, okay. Reverend.
I didn't know you brought everybody in. No. Let me just give this to you. The Rotary does so much in the scope. Okay, you're the president. Turn around, take a picture. Whoever's the president. Barbara's the president.
The Historical Society of Limbrook. Madeline Pearson is here. Am I correct? Let's see, we've got roller hockey, and we have Deputy Mayor Alan Beach accepting on behalf of roller hockey. So actually, he can carry it up, give it to himself. Moving right along, Lynbrook Little League, Louis Danino, are you here? Louis D. Louis. I think he's here with Dave Smollett.
That's Nick.
It is Nick, isn't it? I'm going to show you what they wrote here.
I know. I was going to tell you, it's Nick.
Is your brother Louis?
No.
You got any cousins named Louis?
No. Louis and Danino does not go together. I know.
Here you got it. Go ahead. Have Bill. Can we get George there too?
Let's see. The Lynbrook School Board, Alice Marie Bresnahan. Come up and get her award, certificate. I have one. We also have one for Dr. B. So this one's just for you.
No.
Stay up here when you're done. Wow. Okay, we get a picture. We open them up. All right, stay here. Yeah, stay here. Open them up to the next to be as well.
All right. The Union Free School District, Dr. Santo Barbarino and Dr. Melissa Burak. Why don't you welcome?
Yeah, tell him I get that. I will tell him.
Dr. Barbarino has to another engagement. It happens to be at my old high school in Flushing, Holy Cross, so he's going to find out bad things about me. He's going there for a dinner, which is, what are you going to do? And it happens. Where am I up to? How can I forget the Chamber of Commerce? They're always here. Bill Gaylor, would you come up? Anyone else with you from the chamber? All right. Let me open this up. You go ahead, and I'll have this open.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I moved into this community in 1949 when the Peninsula Boulevard didn't even exist. It was called the Pipeline, and it went from Ocean Avenue to Merrick Road. And they started to build that in the early 50s. So we've been around for a while. I graduated from Lynbrook High School. My dad was the village justice in this village for many years. And now my son, who is the retired lieutenant colonel, is assisting Bill McLaughlin as associate police justice in this village. So you see, it goes around and it comes around. I own the Lynn Gift Shop, which is located on Atlantic Avenue, at 11 Atlantic Avenue. And I don't know whether you realize that, but that used to be called the Arcade Theater. Yes. It was called the Itch. When I moved into this community, I went to the Itch on Saturday morning. I paid 11 cents. I watched Buck Rogers, 2 cartoons, and a show. The store next to me, which is part of my store now, was the Waldorf Kosher Delicatessen. How many of you remember that? The best corned beef and cabbage you could ever imagine, and pastrami. And next to the other side of my store was a fruit store, which is next to the HSBC. So here I am, been in Lynbrook all this time. I'm president of the Chamber of Commerce. I've been so for years. I have to tell you, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to be the president of the Chamber of Commerce. And I have to tell you that I am so thrilled with the relationship that I have with this administration, who is working so closely with us for a better community and for economic development. And I want to thank you. I'm humbled and honored to serve. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, we have, let's start with the fire department. We have representative from Limerick Hose Company, James Eisenhower. Jimmy? Come on up. Do we have Jimmy's plaque?
Just got Jimmy. Why don't you open that up?
Okay, you don't have to say anything. If you need it, you want to sit back down here. Thanks. Thanks for coming. Thank you. You want to do this one, sir? We're getting down. Now we have our chiefs here, and we have all of them. We have 3 former and 4 present. Chief Ray Burke, Assistant Chief Mike Hines, Assistant Chief really is Zemo DiCarlo, Anthony DiCarlo, but he'll call him Zemo. He'll answer to it. And Assistant Chief Eddie Hines, all with their lovely wives. We have former Chief Robbie Cribbin, former Chief John Obenheim. Round of applause. All did a lot of good work. And former Chief Kevin Bubba Bean. If Zemo could be a Zemo, Bubba could be a Bubba. All right? And we thank you for coming, and you know how much we love you. Chief Ray Burke, would you come up and get the plaque? That is a shirt. It's not purple, but it's a shirt. I love it. Thank you. Thanks for sitting today. A round of applause. The guys that went out 600 times a year. We do everything together. Just realize that these gentlemen go out 600 times a year as volunteers. They don't get paid. They're in day and night, and we thank you for being here. I have a special award for volunteerism. Is Bud Robinson here? Where's Bud? All right, now we really have some special thanks, and I want the whole board to come up. The first ones, the special thanks go first to Sweet Pea's Bake Shop, who made the whole cake we're going to have. They're brand new. It's going to be a delicious 2-tier birthday cake, and it should be wonderful. Stephen's Flowers for the florals. Donated all the florals to the table. And of course, the Elks, thank you for the hall and working with us to keep this reasonable and move it along. And last but not least, and we really have to thank the committee that just worked so hard on this. And I mean, they were always meeting at home, meeting with us. And we start off with Flo Brooks. Flo, what more can I say? You're the chairperson. You and Eleanor Duval really did wonderful, and I'd like you to come up. And yes, I'll take Carol. We talk about Flo. And Peggy, I'm sorry, you too. Peggy, come on up. Good, you have it, very good. Eleanor, you have his flowers? Thank you all for everything. And thank you. I have someone on the committee that's been on the whole 100th anniversary committee right from the beginning. We have breakfast in the mornings, we make phone calls in the afternoon. I run over and sign things, miss 3, run back and sign 3 more. proclamations, someone who has just worked tirelessly throughout every one of these events. And sometimes someone just gets something a little bit more special. And I hope no one minds, but I just felt that Carol Burak was that person. So, presented to Carol Burak. And she just gave herself her own flowers. Presented to Carol Burak, in grateful appreciation for your outstanding and dedicated service to the 100th Anniversary Committee and the residents of this community. Thank you for all your hard work, and the Incorporated Village of Limerick, March 12th, 2011. Next year. Flo, I know you had to do
Carol,
something.
do you want to give a speech?
You want to say something?
No.
No.
There you go.
I would like to thank my committee. Would Peg come up, Eleanor, and Carol? No matter when you called Carol, she was always there, and Peg and Eleanor. Peg did a lot of running around for me. And I would just like to give you these in appreciation. Quite an honor to the chair of this committee. Carol? Yes.
All right, ladies, before you step down, I know that, I don't know if everybody knows it, Art Mattson has made available to the committee copies of his 2 books that involved Limbrook. One, of course, is Water and Ice. I started it, and it's very, very interesting. It's about the Bristol that sunk, and the paupers, or I guess you call it the pauper cemetery that was made over on Ocean Avenue for a lot of immigrant Irish that drowned before the turn of the century. And I might have the wrong date, Art, so forgive me. And the other book is his 2nd edition of the history of Lynbrook. Now, ladies, I understand that every table gets one. Would you tell them how they win?
Underneath the cup will be a candy, and whoever got the candy is the one who gets it.
And this is Eileen. Eileen, tell us your full name.
Eileen Babcock Voge. And I've been here 90 years.
90 years.
I was 4 months old in 1921. And I'm now 90 years. So
wow, that's wonderful. You have any good memories to share?
Oh, lots of them. I loved every minute. My husband also came here. And he passed away 3 years ago, but he came here in 1919 when he was a year old.
Oh, wow.
And we both graduated, went all the way to school, graduated high school, and got married. And then we opened a store on Sunrise Highway.
Oh.
We were in the feed business, both feed and seed. We built a building on Sunrise Highway and had a house in the rear that faced Rockland Avenue. And we lived there for, like 12 years or so. Actually, now I live in Oceanside with my granddaughter. But I'm still the last charter member of the Ladies Auxiliary of the Limbrook Fire Department. I'm the last founding member, right. 62 years.
That's called commitment.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have the pin.
60 years? Well, it's now 62 years. That was 2 years ago.
That's great.
And my husband was fire chief in 1965 and 67. We did a lot with the fire department. We were always involved with the fire department. We have a 5th generation member now. My great-grandson just joined the fire department. The one at Hartwick, goes to Hartwick College.
Wow.
And she's in the 2nd year of Hartwick. And joined both the companies last year, and he's our 5th generation of the fire department. I don't think they've had another 5th generation there in the fire department. My father-in-law, my husband, my son, and my grandson, and my great-grandson. 5 generations.
5, that's wonderful.
And I have a lot of memories. I mean, there's a lot of good people in Limerick.
Sure is.
I knew for many, many years all these people. That's why I wanted to come tonight, to see if anybody remembered I was alive.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your memories with us.
You're welcome. I remember the wooden school. I didn't go to it, but my sister did. A little wooden school on Atlantic Avenue. Yeah, well, they built a brick school. And my sister went there. She was 4 years older than me. Before I started school, they built a brick one. They built West End School. I went there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you enjoy your time.
Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Now we have Lynbrook Police Chief Joe Neve here tonight. Thanks for coming, Joe.
My pleasure.
So tell us a little bit about Lynbrook Police Department.
Well, the Lynbrook Police Department has about 75 personnel with police officers and civilians protecting the public of Lynbrook 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
They are there.
They're there.
In a minute.
Yes. It's interesting about the birthday is we have all the old police blotters that go back to when the department was formed back in 1912. That's all history. It's interesting to read them.
And you've been with the police department since what year?
1977.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Birthday